Hi guys, so today we're going to look at the immune system biology this time. So let's jump into it. So, what are physical barriers and chemical barriers? So, physical barriers are like your skin, right? So, they're like the first line of defense. So, the skin acts as a physical barrier that prevents pathogens from entering the body. It also secretes oils and antimicrobial substances that can kill or inhibit pathogens on the surface itself. Now, on our skin, right, there's actually hairs, and those hairs are going to trap the pathogens before they enter the body itself. Now, if another way a pathogen were to enter our nose, for example, let's say the pathogen enters our nose. What happens is that our nose are going to actually be lined with a bunch of hair and mucus themselves. Now, those actually trap the pathogens, preventing them from entering the body itself. Okay, and if the pathogen were to still enter and pass through all the mucus and hairs, they're gonna have to go down the trachea. Now the trachea is actually going to be lined with a bunch of mucus. The mucus are going to be lined with the trachea, the bronchioles, and then the bronchioles. So all of them are going to be lined with a bunch of mucus. Inside them, they also contain ciliated cells. The ciliated cells, right? They are finger-like extensions of the cell membrane, and they're going to beat upwards. They're going to beat upwards. They're going to move the cilia. They're going to move. Sorry, not cilia. They're going to move the mucus up and out of the trachea and then into our mouth, where we either spit them out or we swallow back them down. Now, if we choose to swallow them, what happens is that they're going to go down the esophagus. Now, the esophagus is going to lead into the stomach, where the stomach has hydrochloric acid. So, hydrochloric acid is going to have a pH of 1 to 2. It's a very, very strong pH, a very acidic pH that can dissolve metals, glass, rubber, anything. So if it can dissolve all of that, it's going to obviously dissolve our pathogens also and going to kill them as well. Now, what is white blood cells? White blood cells basically has three functions down here that I'm going to label. The first, phagocytosis. So phagocytosis is the process where a white blood cell actually detects a pathogen itself, and it's gonna slowly track it down. And when it tracks it down, it's slowly gonna binding into it and actually engulfing it. So it slowly eats it. It eats it, and it releases a bunch of digestive enzymes. And that digestive enzymes actually slowly break the pathogen down into small pieces, and then ultimately it just becomes destroyed. The second process is actually the production of antitoxins. So many pathogens themselves, they actually produce harmful toxins that can damage our body cells. Now, to counterattack this, right, our white blood cells actually produce good antitoxins, and those antitoxins will bind to the pathogen itself, neutralizing these toxins so they cannot release those harmful toxins all around the body. So they just stop the toxins from happening. And the third process is actually the production of antibodies. Now, antibodies, right? You need to know the difference between antibodies and antigens. So, antigens are actually foreign molecules found of the pathogen itself, such as proteins on the virus or cell walls on the bacteria. Now, antibodies are proteins made by the white blood cells themselves, and they are very specific and bind to one antigen itself. Now, as the antibodies are produced, they bind to a pathogen. And what happens is that they act as a label. This label actually signals the phagocytos, right, to actually destroy them. And at first, right, the immune system will slowly form those memory cells. And those memory cells will act as a very important structure in the immune system. Why? Essentially because in the future, if you have a similar viral infection, what happens is that actually triggers the immune system and allows them to actually react more faster. And when they react more faster, right, they tend to mass produce a bunch of antibodies. And when they mass produce a bunch of antibodies, they will rapidly destroy all of those pathogens before any of your symptom appears, such as your cold, your flu, your fever, your headaches, your dizziness. Before all those even happen, your body is already producing a bunch of antibodies, wiping all of the pathogens out. And this is where you actually have immunity. Before before you get infected, oh, all my symptoms are all here now. Now your body has learned to identify all of those bacteria and pathogens, and now it has understand it, and now you have actually become immune to the virus because of your natural antibodies themselves. And that will be the end of this video. So I hope you have enjoyed this video and learned something new about phagocytosis, antitoxins, the good toxins, and antibodies themselves. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.